So this is a email I sent on 13th of May. It was 2022. It was symbolically because this was Friday. I celebrate that day for certain reasons which I'm going to explain in other video. So before that, I sent the last video, the last email I sent before that was on 24th of September 2021. After that, I moved to live in country. So I planned to do that long time ago, like in 2010, but I wasn't able for various reasons. I simply could not stand that electromagnetic radiation and pollution and so on and so on. So I really don't enjoy living in city, but I didn't have any choice. So this video is different from previous videos, emails again, because I haven't sent haven't sent it to the recipients I sent before. So a lot of them. I want to explain who they are because I did that before in other videos. So first, here's the list of recipients. I added the lawyer who was representing my brother and monstrous murder of my family. She tricked my brother into selling property, but this will be resolved very soon because he actually took all the credits quoted for doing this, because my brother knows nothing about the law. So they tricked him into making him become a co-conspirator, but that will change very soon. So this email is basically related to selling of that property. So they needed. It took 3 years since Judge Dejan Adamovic. I explained everything in other videos what he did after he faked the whole inheritance proceedings. It took them 3 years to actually 3 years since my father died. They needed 3 years to sell the property and to confirm that there's nothing suspicious, basically to make it look like monstrous murder, my family did nothing wrong. But this all is now falling apart for various reasons. Again, I explained that in other videos, or I explain in other videos. So now I'm here just giving this email. So this email is important for a lot of reasons. One of them is that I'm now here giving the all important details to prosecution and to, let's see who is addressed here. So higher instance court of Smederevo, higher instance prosecution of Smederevo. This is the elementary prosecution of Smederevo. So this lawyer, then her office. There are like, I don't know, like 8 lawyers in that office. This is their website. Yeah, my brother, of course. Police Internal Affairs of Serbia. Police Department of Smederevo. Their officer of related to actually officer of police internal affairs within that department, military and military intelligence. So now finally I decided, since all the state institutions, primarily prosecution and courts and police, they are pretending they don't know how to use YouTube and the G drive. Now I gave them everything, like people say, on plate. So first part is for President of Higher Instance Court. After that she filed basically the I explained that in other videos. She basically filed the crime report against herself. Sorry, not that. Which is, as I stated already, something. So in 13th of June 2022 she filed crime report against herself. This is because he couldn't do anything, she couldn't do anything else. So she could not avoid being responsible, and she basically just transferred that responsibility to the prosecution office where she filed that crime report. She, of course, is above prosecution, court is above prosecution, and she was just using that fact. So the first part is for her. So I asked her to confirm that she received all my hand signatures with the emails I posted, actually the headings of those emails. So I went there when I moved to country. I went there in, I don't know, probably beginning of May, something like that, or maybe even before that. And I asked her secretary to print all the headings of emails I sent, because she was the president was constantly invoking law on e-signature. So then I went there and I signed by hand all the headings of emails I sent. So I explained that here, and of course copy of my ID, so she cannot invoke that law anymore, although she wasn't able to invoke it before. I explained in other videos why, so won't go into details. And so on and so on. I just repeated something that I said before. So this is my G drive, and I sent her this because it contains proofs that Interpol is involved in the whole case, and that police is behind my claims that monster who murdered my family is actually murdered my family, because they forwarded my crime report to the prosecution office in charge. 24 hours after I reported using my Twitter account, I reported top of Ministry of Interior to Interpol in 2019. So I just provided another pieces of evidence that my email was automatically verified by police doing this, and also by the acting prosecutor sending me my autopsy of my grandfather. So by doing that, they automatically verified my emails, because this is autopsy report is highly confidential. So they sort of implicitly confirmed my email. So she didn't have any right, besides some parts of the law which also prevented her to invoke e-signature, law on e-signature. But again, I explained that in other videos. So I just gave her here the G drive folders containing, and of course this is the picture she needed to open to see this. So picture number 12, which is the notification by the commissioner. This was not his job, of police department of Smederevo, that they forwarded my crime report to prosecution office in charge. And this is proof that, so these two pictures, 19 and 25, this is proof that I received the my grandfather's autopsy. So by doing that, they confirmed this is my email. And this is yeah, this is basically the set of pictures which are the documents from my grandfather's autopsy. So again, this is highly confidential, and by doing that, they implicitly verified my email, and so on and so on. So the next part is for the prosecutor, chief prosecutor of elementary prosecution of Smederevo. So what they did, so she's a new prosecutor, chief prosecutor. Before her there was another who is involved, that another was, I think, Dragana Popovic. She was involved in brutal intimidation. They tried to intimidate me in order to be silent on changing ownership of third of my property that is that this monster who murdered my family inherited. She inherited that by a judge who was in charge of inheritance proceedings, committed major frauds. So I have details on that in other videos, so I won't go into those details here. And also before that, together with the notary in Smederevo called Bojana Babic, they tried to steal my whole property. So they tried to steal my whole property by committing a fraud, of course, set of frauds, in September 2019. So what I did here, I asked her as a new chief prosecutor to send me all those cases related to me, to monstrous murders of my family. I gave her here the G drive folder containing that report. So that notary, when I threatened that I will that she will lose the license to do her job, she then reported me that I threatened her, that I endangered her, that I recorded. There were like five major offenses allegedly done by me. They dismissed all the charges when I reminded them I am a witness of international organized crime. I explained that why I'm witness of that crime in other videos, so I'm not going into details here. So this is my my counter crime report against that notary. She is a very controversial person, so I won't go again into details because I explained that in other videos, and I explained how their colleagues from her prosecution office were intimidating me, including police. So this is folder related to decision of dismissing all the charges against me, and I think this is yeah, so this is the part of basically that case of intimidation. So they hold the case on so-called, some people say, called it on ice to activate that. So they wanted to charge me that I endangered that notary. She has the same status as the police officer and judge and so on and so on. So this would be a major deal. I would probably get like 10 years in prison. So they tried to frame me, but they gave up, which can be seen in that previous folder. They gave up when I reminded them I'm a witness of international organized crime. They cannot do anything about that. So this is the folder containing the data, decision, and explanation of the decision of the higher instance prosecution of Belgrade, and not any office, but Office for Anti-Corruption. So Office for Anti-Corruption was intimidating me by giving credits to that monster notary. So I have separate videos on that, and I will probably create some other videos because there are a lot of things to be covered here. So I explained here what they should have do instead of intimidating me, and I mentioned another person who was also involved. So Maja Ilić, she is now in prosecution office in Požarevac, which is a city in Serbia. So this is the official page of High Council of DA Prosecution of Serbia, and here is office of that lady. It appears that she's now married. This is the former chief, so she's now chief prosecutor. This lady was former chief prosecutor. She is the one who was in charge of the whole intimidation scheme. I mean, this is the major deal because, again, it's major international crime to intimidate witness of international organized crime. So they cannot avoid jail, definitely. So another thing, I was here asking about other cases related to me, and again the same folder, Police Department of Smederevo. So they had some information related to my cases. I'm going to details on those cases. So this is just the list of cases related to me, either by the means of those cases created after I filed a crime report, or others filed crime report against me. This is the monster who is palling with murder of my family. She regularly is collecting dead bathing water, which is extremely sick. I reported that long time ago, and nobody is doing anything. So this crime is a major crime called endangering public health. So all these disgusting fluids ended up in some people's meal or water, and so on and so on. And again, to this very day, nobody is doing anything, which is a scandal on its own. So there are some more details given here. And this is on police intimidation during that period. So starting from end of April 2022 to, I think it ended, I don't know, like in January this year. So I don't know if I open this. Today is 6th of 2023. 6th July, sorry, 6th of July 2023. So there are some more details, and that intimidation is basically done by police coming to my home multiple times on false reporting of this monster who murdered my family. They know what is happening, they pretend they knew nothing, and they were basically intimidating me like 10 times. So of course they did nothing, and again I reminded them that I have full right according to the law to get those cases related to me. This is something on my on cancer in my eye, and so on and so on. These are some videos. I sent. Yeah, this is related to that attorney I mentioned, or lawyer. I think it's attorney. Attorney is the right term. This is on involvement of brutal banning of brutal breaking of their own rules. So YouTube blocked me for 19 days instead of 7 days. And this is about my crime reports against Serbian military on illegal arms trade. So next part is for Chief Prosecutor of Higher Instance Prosecution in Smederevo. The former was retired. So I stated here, I gave here all the details on the cases, all the cases. So this is the first one related to monstrous murders of my family. This is related to monstrous murder of my grandfather. I gave all the details. So this is the next one, which is the result of reporting prosecutor, acting prosecutor investigating my grandfather's murder to a higher instance prosecution in the state, which is Republic Prosecution Office. They now changed their name to Supreme Prosecution Office. Sounds strange, but anyways, and this is the number of that case in Republic Prosecution Office. So and the last one is the case of related to my crime report of president of the higher instance court that I mentioned in the beginning of this video or of this email, and another case which is related to my crime report on judge who committed brutal frauds during the inheritance proceedings for my father. And I gave here evidence of that fraud. So I will create another video, but this is basically this is the first fraud the judge committed, and it's the I know. Okay, so this is the part I added on so this part here on monstrous murders of my family, and this is the these are the as it says here minutes of the on 28th of February 2020, minutes related to inheritance proceedings for my late father, and it can be seen in the so yeah, I forgot to mention that it can be seen in the second page of those minutes that there is no sorry, there is no signature and seal, and I have here the proof from monstrous murder in my family that there was no, because I wasn't able to prove that otherwise, there was no signature and seal in that, which is mandatory in that minutes. And I mentioned here the war profiteer who bought my property legally, although I so Zvonimir Stevanovic from Dobridov Smederevo, where I live now. So he did that, although I warned him multiple times that it's illegal. And this is this is my complaint on frauds judge committed. So higher instance court simply ignored that, and this is something related to higher instance court. I think this is the, what's this? Something related to DA. Yeah, to explain that in another video. This is acting of basically cover up of higher instance prosecution related to cover up of those frauds committed by judge by higher instance prosecution. Explain everything in other videos, so I won't go into details. So I basically was doing their job. They needed to do that by the definition of their job, or ex officio, to examine everything that I sent them, but they haven't done that to this very day. Although I here sent them all the details, did their job. So I don't know what's this. Yeah, this is a state. This is a list of institutions that have proofs that this is international case. And then I reminded him what he need to do against other people who are involved, like this lawyer. I of course added my brother, but this was misunderstanding at that time. This guy who bought illegal my property, and the notary from Smederevo who I don't know what's the word. Certified the contract. Okay, so the notary who certified the contract, she knew very well what's happening, and of course pretended that nothing is wrong. So this is the directory showing what that she was trying to steal my property, my whole property, in September 2019. There will be a separate video on that, so I won't go into details. So basically I just did their job, give them on plate all the evidence, and again asked them to do their job and to give me my cases. This is for the Commissioner of Internal Affairs of Police, Serbian Police. So this is basically when the whole intimidating scheme started. I reported first police officer who was trying to intimidate me. They answered, but they simply ignored what I said, providing some generic response that they haven't found anything. But of course, they won't give me the details, as it is. This is what was happening all the time. This is a list of 37 cases of international organized crime related to Serbia. So the first one contains 9 cases. This is email I sent to Supreme Court, and the other is given in that RTF document. And again, I was doing the job of higher instance prosecutor, chief prosecutor, and I also reminded them there are some more cases that I'm going to add. I also reported the Commissioner of Police Department of Smederevo and Commander as well for brutally breaking the law. And I think I basically made a mistake with this guy. About this guy, sorry, because the police officer, because he was basically, he was fair in the end. So I will withdraw this crime report against him. So of course I said if he doesn't do what I ask him, I will create a video about him. And these are some more videos. Yeah, this is about involvement of Department of Justice. All from my channel. These are all from my channel, and this is the main one, the video of emails sent to Department of Justice related to their involvement in illegal arms trade in illegal arms trade in Serbia. So their federal government is behind this. These are all the attachments from the email. So there is a follow-up email. So this is confirmation by her instance, by those prosecutions I listed here that they received, they confirmed. But the yeah, I also have here confirmation of higher instance court, a bit late. So there is a follow-up email. It says here is supplemental. This is a video where monster who murdered my family is moving surveillance cams so that I don't see where she's going. At that time I thought, yeah, fortunately I left the DA I left the camera, computer camera, which was recording the sound, and it can be heard what she did here. So this happened when I enlarged this picture, which shows where she's going. She could not, it was impossible for her to knew that. So somebody who is spying, probably intelligence, I mean not probably but intelligence, informed her about that, and it was important to move the camera. She moved her so that I cannot see anything. She returned that afterwards, so that I don't see how frequently she's visiting the neighbors, and she was doing that because which is something I later found out, the psychiatrist told her to do so because she has severe form of depression, and doctor told her that she must constantly be with people. This is the only thing that, this is something that only psychiatrists can tell you. So another thing, this monster admits, and one more time, this is something they should have done long time ago. I sent them all these emails, all these videos long time ago. So this is extremely important part where this monster admits she found my, and of course time is set already, she found my grandfather and he fell, supposedly fell, actually she pushed him or hit him. And this was the major argument for the acting attorney or deputy, sorry, prosecutor, state prosecutor, to close the case. And when I informed them that the facts have changed, they did nothing, of course. So of course that monster convinced my father to claim that he found my grandfather, and he did that because he probably was afraid that he will go if something happened to this monster. Probably she told him so, that he will go to he'll be sent to nursing home and he'll be starved there. This is what I assume. So and of course my father could not give any statement at that time because he was taking medicines for supposedly having Parkinson's disease, but which was actually just poisoning with mercury. So without consent of the opinion of a psychiatrist, he could not give any statement after taking those pills for 6 years. So and again I reminded him that they have access to all those information since 2019. So this is about legality in the work, which is related to police, this part. And this is another video, that monster who murdered my family, 3 members of my family, again admits that she found my grandfather when he fell. So some more details. This is this part related to medicines my father was taking for 6 years. So another video where she claims she what's the time here? I haven't set time here, unfortunately, but this is a video where this monster who murdered my family admits that neighbor convinced her to marry my father, and before that she said my grandfather convinced her to do that. And in the end I got the video. Actually, I got the information when I called that neighbor who was the witness when my father and that monster were married. So let's see. Yeah, this is the part. This is that part. So she claimed that other people convinced her. So my grandfather and first my grandfather. Then when she figured out that doesn't make sense, then she said the neighbor who was a witness during their wedding. He convinced her, but actually what happened, she convinced my father to marry her because this was there was an agreement. Unfortunately, it was not a written agreement. So she agreed when she she moved to my home. Before she moved to my home, that she will not marry my father. They did that secretly, and the guy who was I don't know if I added this to the email. So the guy who was a witness admitted that they married secretly. So Dragan Mrčajrović. So he admitted here that nobody knew that she married my father, which is of course illegal. That's a fraud. One more piece of evidence about this monster, and of course, yeah, my father said that she. When I asked him why he did that, he promised he won't do it. He said that she was constantly crying and begging him to marry her, because supposedly she wanted to be sure that we will be taking care of her. I mean, as if we are some criminals or something like that. Of course, she refused to sign an agreement on that. There should have been an agreement between me, my brother, and her about her taking her on my family, and later that we take care of her. Sorry. So she refused to sign that. So and this part is about the guy who was in charge of, who was acting state prosecutor in investigating my grandfather's murder. So I proved here that he is convicted for pickpocketing in train. There is a video on that. So which means that she became a prosecutor by various state institutions committing a fraud. He could not be a prosecutor, meaning that everything, the whole investigation needs to be done again, which is what will happen. And this is law on judges. So one more time, I think that the list is the same, list of recipients. Yeah, and I added the Bar Association or Chamber of Lawyers, which is the organization giving the issuing licenses to lawyers. They cannot work if they are not part of that organization. So I gave the articles about that prosecutor, acting prosecutor. He let me see, that's his name, Alexander Kuzmanov. So two newspapers wrote about that he was convicted of pickpocketing in trains. Some other proofs of frauds committed by prosecution. They claim they haven't received my email. And something very interesting, it says here that law on judges says here that judge can break the law intentionally, so not unintentionally, meaning euphemism for actually can make a mistake intentionally, which is the euphemism for breaking the law. So judges can break the law, and in that case they need to pay the damages, which is something very, very interesting and important. And some other details on that. So and again the same thing from the law on state prosecution. They also need to pay the damages when they make a mistake intentionally, which is again euphemism for breaking the law. And it says here they can pay the damages, but it should be must pay damages. This is obviously a mistake. Nobody answers so far why it says here they can pay the damages. So so the last attachment is the screenshot of the I have a video on that, of the email I sent to that was a warning prior to reporting her, filing crime report against her, international crime report against that lawyer who represent my brother and and that monster who murdered my family. Within the procedure of signing the contract, selling 2/3 of my property, and this is the name of it. I just need to open it for completeness. So this is the first part, and this is the second part, and of course third part. So one more time. Of course she didn't answer, although she threatened she will sue me. To this day she didn't answer. And this is proof that I sent everything to also to Chamber of Lawyers of Bar Association, Chamber of Lawyers of Serbia. The other attachments I mentioned. So to this day only, so they confirmed they received the email, but to this day they did nothing, of course. This is not important, this is nothing, something private. So and this is the last email I sent. So, and it's for ambassadors. This is when I started, and this is the date. I will create a separate video on this email. This is when I started contacting ambassadors. So but regarding this email, I think that this would be everything. Maybe let's double check if I missed something. Yeah, this part is, I missed this. This part is related to internal affairs, police internal affairs of Serbia. And this is the picture of a major of military police of Serbia who contacted me after I reported Serbian military for illegal arms trade. It can be considered as intimidation, or maybe they tried to bribe me, or both. So after that call, so this was this is the his phone number. Unfortunately, I didn't give the G drive, but this is in G drive folder, but this is in, I think I mentioned that here in this video, but I will give it now. So I mean, they have that folder, so it's in the folder called VSS, which is short for High Council of Judiciary. And I just want to show that for completeness. And before that, I'm going to, yeah, I actually opened this, sorry. So I just want to show that picture. So it's picture 8 in the folder VSS. They have access to that folder, so I actually, it's not my job to point to the picture. Although I'm doing that, then I'm doing their job. So VSS, it's here, and these are folders, some videos, and 8. So here it is. The first one was a bit blurry, so I created, so this is from my phone. So I created another one. Yeah, so that's it. 10th of March. So the day before they changed ownership in cadastre. So this is state institution in charge of managing properties, geospatial data, ownership of properties, and so on and so on. So a day before cadastre changed, I mean, director of Geodetic Institute in Belgrade was the one who is behind that fraud. So one day before cadastre changed that by committing a fraud, they ignored all my complaints I sent. They haven't even confirmed they received them. So day after, on 11th of March 2021, they changed this finally, hoping that this will finalize the case, that I cannot do anything about it. So day before that, on 10th of March, major of military police called me he wanted to talk to me. I mean, it's very strange that military is messing with a private case, something that doesn't have anything to do with military. So after that, I called the headquarters of Serbian military, and they said it was a problem. It was miscommunication problem, because I it was impossible for me to understand that I thought somebody is trying to I don't know, pull out some joke. I thought it was basically a joke. So I contacted head military police, sorry, Serbian military headquarters, and they again said that it's a miscommunication problem. So basically that would be it. One more time, I still didn't have any sort of response from all the people I mentioned here. So as a conclusion, and this is something I already explained, but I need to do it again, so they know really well it's international case, and the only scenario in which they can act like this is if international institutions, international courts, and so on, promise them protection. So they won't do anything on my reports, because so far I reported everything, as I think I mentioned, to Interpol and to United States Department of Justice. But unfortunately for them, geopolitics is changing rapidly, geopolitical situations, and it doesn't it's not in their favor. So sooner or later they will need to be held responsible for everything they did, because their masters, Western European masters, will not be able to protect them for very long. Okay, so I think that this would be all. So there is only one mail left to be covered, and then I will work on probably some other topics. But for now, that would be it.